Where was this at all season? 45-13. Alabama up on Kansas State here in the waning minutes. I mean, Kansas State got up on them 10-0, and I was already like, oh, well, is Alabama really about to lose to a team that, with all their players, And this was a nice game to see. Both teams pretty much had all their players outside of the transfers. Transfers didn't play, but everybody else did. Bryce Young, Will Anderson played. That was something nice to see. It would have really been funny if Alabama lost. But yeah. I'm honestly a little surprised that Alabama won by this much. I thought Kansas State would actually put up a really good game with them. I picked Alabama, but I didn't. I don't know about by this much, I mean, especially after. I mean, the first half was close, but anywho. All right. I admit, I'll do better for the national championship. This hype and hate is not going to be maybe as long as it should be. I'm trying to make the best I can, but, short notice here. And I would have watched the Michigan TCU game. So. Geez, 45-20 now. All right. Moving on. Ohio State is not going to... They're not going to beat Georgia. I'm telling you, they're not. Their defense is soft, and it's it's their defense is soft, and offensively they're one dimensional. That's just the truth. Especially without TreVeyon Henderson now. They're trying to say Miyan Williams is better running back than TreVeyon Henderson. I don't buy that at all. He's not. I've watched Ohio State this year. He's good, but TreVeyon Henderson, that's their best back, and that's just the truth. I mean, this is... But I'm just saying here, Georgia is going to run all over Ohio State. Tell me Ohio State's holding Georgia under 200 rushing yards. I mean, Georgia's probably going to get a bit more than that, maybe even 250. But, yeah, Ohio State's defense has improved this year. I'll give them credit on that. But it's not nowhere near it should be. They allowed 545 plus yard touchdowns to Michigan. I mean, Michigan carved them up through the air in the first half, and then pounded their ass on the ground in the second. I mean, how are they going to guard Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington? And how are they going to guard those guys? Nobody's guarding our tight ends. They're not going to, and it's going to allow A.D. Mitchell and Ladd McConkey to get open. So, you're already not going to be able to guard our run game. So what are you going to do? I mean, our pass protection's amazing. You're not going to get... And Stetson Bennett, he's very good at getting away from pressure. And if you watch Stetson, you know that. So, what are you going to do? That's what I wonder. I mean, we're a better version of Michigan. It's what we are. Now that we both have pretty good quarterback play last year. I give it Stetson. He's improved. He's become a good quarterback. Last year it was a little concerning. This year it's not the case. So credit to him for that. But moving on, to Ohio State's toughest part, the Georgia defense. How are you going to score on the Georgia defense? I mean, look, this ain't damn 2014. Georgia, the reason why you beat Alabama's defense in 2014 is your team had speed and theirs didn't. Well, Georgia's got a ton of speed. And honestly, you might not have as much speed as you did in 2014. Well, I mean, probably not. Probably not. What are you going to do against the Georgia defense? In big games this season, do you realize that against two top 5 offenses in Oregon, Tennessee's the number 1 offense. I think Oregon's probably like number 4 or whatever, 3, something like that. You realize that Georgia's shut those offenses down. Yeah, LSU got some yards on us, but I mean, in the first half they weren't able to do all that, and then they played a lot of time versus our backups and all that. That's just facts. I mean, I'm not happy if well, I am happy with the way we play versus LSU. I mean, we won the SEC championship. I mean, there's a couple times where maybe I'm not happy with the defense against LSU. But, look, I mean, they starters did their thing, and I'm tired. Starters did their thing, and offensively we were great. I mean, this Georgia defense shut down Tennessee, the number 1 offense in the country. They have a better offense than you do. It might be gimmicky. They have 11 points. Fine, whatever. That might all be true. They have a better offense than you do. And Oregon's pretty damn close. Alabama wins 45-20. You could struggle versus Ole Miss, 5-loss, an 8-5 Ole Miss team. You could struggle versus a 5-7 Texas A&M team. You could struggle versus an 8-5 Texas team, and a 7-6 Arkansas team. You could get a scare by them. You could lose to a 10-4 LSU team, and to your credit, 11-2 Tennessee team. But when it comes to a top 10 team like Kansas State, you just blow them out of the water. I don't understand that. But this is an Alabama hype and hate, so. Ohio State, speaking of struggling games, let's talk about that. Ohio State is struggling games all year. Yeah, the score might not look like it, but, you struggled versus Northwestern. I mean, you struggled versus Maryland. You struggled versus Notre Dame. You struggled versus Penn State. Ohio State has been struggling all year. You struggled versus Iowa. Iowa, they don't have an offense. I mean, Georgia, Georgia's struggled in one regular season game over the last 2 years. We struggled versus Missouri. That was it. Lost to Alabama the SEC title a year ago, then avenged it in the Natty. I mean, Georgia, you're not. We have the best DBs in the country. I don't think it's that close. Our DB core is the best in the country, and our pass rush has gotten better over the course of the season. We even got 6 sacks against Tennessee, but 4 of them against LSU, I think. So, I mean, we're just. I mean, I'm just saying here, you know. And our run defense is the best in the country as well. You're not going to run on us. You're a one-dimensional team. All you can do is throw the ball. You struggled running the ball all year. You sure in hell ain't running the ball against Georgia. Your wide receivers going to have trouble getting open, just like they did in the Notre Dame game. Your wide receivers struggled getting open so much in the Notre Dame game. About you struggling, I forgot. Oh, lost to Michigan. But your wide receivers struggled getting open in the Notre Dame game. And they struggled getting open in the Michigan game, to be honest. I mean, they struggled getting open. You know what? You know what Georgia's DBs will do to y'all? Well, he ain't gonna be money no more, is he? That guy's off to the NFL. So is Will Anderson, Jahmyr Gibbs. Alabama ain't replacing that. I hope they make the SEC title next year. I don't think they will. I hope so. So we can beat their ass, but All right, moving on back to Ohio State. I can't. Moving back to Ohio State. It Tennessee and Ohio State is the same way. And this is how it works for both teams. For Tennessee to be able to throw the ball, they have to run it. They have to be able to run the ball, or else they're not going to be able to throw it. Okay? The only way Ohio State has success in the air is if they run the ball, if they're able to run the ball. Against a great defense. That's what happened versus Michigan. You weren't able to run the ball. Michigan was able to shut you down through the air. Most of the game against Notre Dame, you weren't able to run the ball. They shut you down through the air. Northwestern, you weren't able to run the ball well. They shut you down through the air. I don't care what the weather was. Maybe that's why you should have go play in Columbus, Ohio, because of weather conditions like that. Just saying. You play in Athens, Georgia, you're never going to experience that. It's a good weather down here. Except when we rained out Tennessee, but. Well, they didn't pull in Oklahoma. Yeah, but Ohio State, I'm pretty much done talking about you. I mean, much less the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer went to your school and all that. Uncle Lou's got that. he's got that job. The fact that every time you play against a physical team, you get blown off in the trenches, and allowed 300 rushing yards. I mean, jeez. That guy can't speak. He's just mumbling his words. Imagine if they didn't have Bryson Will or Jahmyr Gibbs. And credit to them, they played. I'm done talking about Ohio State. All they do is run their mouths anyways. They talk like and credit to them. They've had a lot of success, so credit to them. I mean, but they talk like they have 10 natties in the last 10 years. Something we might achieve. Okay. Hey, who knows? Till someone can beat us, I'm not going to think otherwise, I guess. Hey, man, but Ohio State's soft as tissue. They're not stopping our run game, not stopping our tight ends. You're not running on Georgia. You're not going up against the best. I mean, your pass protection's bad. Our pass rush is going to get to you. You're not going up against the best DBs in the country. You ain't doing that. You ain't doing that. Stetson Bennett, Kenny McIntosh, AD, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, Tate Ratledge, Cedric Von Prawn, Jalen Carter, Nazir Stackhouse, Smile Munden, Micah Williams, Malachi Starks, Christopher Smith, Keely Ringo. All you've done is run your mouth about Keely Ringo. That man hasn't given up a touchdown in his college career, and he locked up Jalen Hyatt's ass, and he's gonna lock up Mara Harrison's ass too. Just watch. All right, see y'all later, man. Can't wait to watch this Michigan TCU game, this Georgia Ohio State game, because boy, we are gonna blow the brake shoes off of them. This video has actually ended up being longer than I thought it would be. Yeah. But if we play Michigan or TCU, but I think Michigan's going to win. Or why don't I do some playoff predictions? Georgia will win 45-10. Michigan will win 52-27. Yeah, 52-27. I know that. I think Michigan's going to roll TCU in the trenches and run all over them. I think TCU can get some plays, get some big plays through the air. But that's about it for me. Maybe a little bit in garbage time. I don't know. I do think TCU's offense can score on Michigan a little bit. I don't think. But I don't think TCU's defense can stop Michigan either. Because, they're soft. They're soft like Ohio State. Georgia and Michigan are physical teams. TCU and Ohio State are soft teams. And Georgia's a better version of Michigan, so we'll beat their ass in the title, too. You know that for damn sure. But, hey, man, let's congratulate Alabama on not making the playoffs. Let's have Bryce Young come up here and speak about winning the biggest game Nick Saban's ever won, the Sugar Bowl, right? All right. Hey, the best thing about this game, this is Bryce, Will, and Jameer's last game in Alabama, so we won't have to see them ever again. Well, it's going to be so funny watching them find replacements for them. I mean, what quarterback you can find? This is why Alabama's next year, the same thing's going to happen. And Lord knows if they play Georgia, they're going to get their brake shoes blown off them. I mean, LSU's going to win the SEC West again. I mean, this is insane. But hey, man, see y'all later. Peace to Go Dogs. And fuck Ohio State. We're going to beat their ass.